Oakland businesses are shutting down. We can't take this anymore. In fact, most people who open businesses, they don't want to think about, oh, am I going to get robbed? Is the store going to be okay? And is it even safe for me to venture out my store? Or is it even safe for me to operate in this city? Most business owners are usually frightened of, oh, maybe the business isn't good because the location is bad. Or what can I do to get more customers in? Somebody left a bad review. But no, in Oakland, what people and restaurant owners and business owners alike are afraid of is the crime epidemic, which is spreading across Oakland in a massive wave. It is getting really, really bad, guys. I'm telling you guys, when the In-N-Out Burger closes down, when you got the Lowe's and Home Depot on a brink of collapse, a bunch of Walmart's closing, Chipotle can't even survive. This is probably not a place for business. And look at Oakland. If I just showed you this video and I didn't tell you it was Oakland, you probably thought this was like some third world country or it was some sort of war zone. Because it does look like a war zone. Got burnt cars, graffiti everywhere, trash everywhere. And it's pretty crazy to see how the city is just cool with this. Guys, I've been to several cities around the world. I've been to, Toronto. It's pretty bad over there, the homeless population. But it's not like San Francisco, Oakland bad. It's getting really bad to the point even the Denny's can't survive. The In-N-Out is shutting down. And I'm pretty sure as time goes on, Apple will probably leave this place as well. So dangerous to the point that even employees of downtown in the Clorox HQ, Pfizer HQ and Kaiser, they all need like security and bodyguards just so employees to go from the garage to the HQ to work. This is insane. And it's only going to get worse as time goes on. A lot of other cities aren't like this. From Australia to Hong Kong to the UAE, you will never see this kind of stuff. And it's like happening in so many American cities to the point that it's pretty easy to solve, right? Have more presence, harsher punishments. But no, you could rob a whole Apple store and get a slap on the wrist, and that's if you get caught. And look at this. Oakland business owner living and working in Little Saigon is saying that it's like war times in Little Saigon. So where is this place? It's in Oakland. It's around this area, and it's not even in like the super bad part of Oakland, but it's going to be from like 1st Avenue all the way to maybe 14th Avenue. Around this sector, you have a lot of Vietnamese and also Chinese restaurants. A lot of these restaurants are very nice. You also have a massive Vietnamese population as well in this location, and they're saying that it's like a war zone in their neighborhood on a constant basis. There's already a lot of videos of their houses getting robbed, their businesses being broken in, and also a lot of violent crime is happening in this sector. And this isn't even in like the super bad part of Oakland. There's parts of Oakland where you don't even dare to step foot in. And this is pretty much making a lot of people just leaving the city. You have people working, living in Little Saigon. It's a tight-knit community. Now they can't stay here anymore. And when the business owner says it reminds him of war times, Oakland has fallen by a lot. And check this out. I don't even blame the dude. This does look like a war zone. Look at this. The person driving says every single time he goes to Home Depot in Oakland, California, he has to pass this. It's pretty sad. You got people living in RVs, people living in tents, and people just basically living here. The city's like, screw this. We don't really care. We'll just leave it as is. This is an eyesore, and not just an eyesore, but a lot of those people who are living in those RVs can't get any sort of help. Nobody's happy. The people who live there aren't happy. The people who live in this environment are not happy. And the taxpayers are definitely not happy. And no wonder the Bay Area is like, why is tourism not going up? Why is tourism so low? Well, it's because it looks like this half the time. And it's not great. I think Oakland can change, especially the Bay Area is extremely wealthy with all the big tech companies there. But they got to change quickly because a lot of these big tech companies are starting to move out in droves. It's getting to a point where even big developments like the Heinz skyscraper, 39 stores in downtown Oakland, is now completely halted. And to this day, in 2024, almost a year, there has been little to no talks about continuing development of this tower. They were supposed to tear down this smaller building in room for a massive tower where they could actually get bigger companies and more startups into Oakland. But with Oakland being like a war zone, do you really think these big corporations want to go there? Most likely not. And it's the Bay Area. It's just getting so bad right now, right? San Francisco, massive homeless population. Oakland, the city with the most carjackings in all of the United States. These are not titles that you want for your city. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still some pretty decent areas in the Bay Area. Like, for example, you got the Wine County up there, right? This is actually still somewhat pretty decent. If you go to Palo Alto, it's still very nice. The Stanford, University is still very hot. If you go to Cupertino, it's okay as well. San Jose, it's basically a ghost town. It's so empty, you won't even see any homeless people. But it's slowly deteriorating. Even some of the high-end suburbs around the strip from Palo Alto to Sunnyvale, you're already seeing a lot of tech guys saying, oh, someone was hiding in my bush and they jumped out with a gun. The crime rate is through the roof. And people who are forced to work in San Francisco and Oakland right now, guess where most of the rich guys are going to? They're going to this island, which traditionally has little to no real estate development. But recently, you got big developments like the Bristol and also a new residency. So there's two major condo projects in this area. You have San Francisco having a bunch of condo developments in the past few years, like the Four Seasons. They only sold less than 10% of their condos. 1554 in San Francisco barely sold jack. In fact, they're so down bad, they couldn't sell a single unit in 5 years. They're thinking about turning it into rentals. It's that bad. But the Bristol and this building right here, which is like another company is building their residencies for sale, are doing really well. And why is that? It's because it's actually away from San Francisco and Oakland. You still have businessmen, wealthy businessmen, in fact, who still have jobs and work in these two cities, but they don't want to spend money buying a condo or a house. They'll much rather buy a condo here, which I don't really blame them. The views are incredible, and there's even a new supermarket that recently opened up. There's a winery. There's also more and more stuff happening. 2 massive skyscraper apartments are being built on this tiny island. Remember, traditionally, this island has little to no developments, but recently, a lot of these condos are starting to sell. Why is that? It's because of how far it is from both places, but at the same time, you can still get there in 15, 20 minutes by car. Look at the Bristol. Look at how good this environment is. And no wonder they could actually sell $3 million penthouses and people will actually buy. Right now in San Francisco, nobody is buying property that's more than $2 million. If you look at transactions in the past 7 months, it's very rare. But the Bristol is already selling like hotcakes, selling like pretty crazy. And it's because of a really nice location, away from the craziness, but you can still access work and money in your business. The Bay Area is turning to something that's very dystopian, very different. And it's not just happening in places like California, but it's happening all across the U.S., Chicago to New York to even Boston recently. It's not looking so good, and this is why America's biggest cities are having a population decline despite America overall having a population increase. We're seeing more people moving to smaller cities, less than 500,000 population, and they like it more. Let's see what happens to Oakland. It's not looking so great. We're seeing a lot of businesses pulling out. And comment below, do you guys think Oakland can recover from this crisis? Because at this rate, you're going to be seeing many of the big chain stores leaving, many of the small businesses leaving, and now you have whole entire skyscraper projects and construction companies pulling out.